What if the sound you've been chasing is blocking the sound you were born with? Keep watching, because discovering your true voice might be the one thing that finally changes everything for you as an artist. The sound hidden under everything you've learned. Every singer starts somewhere, usually by copying someone else. You hear Mariah Carey hit a run, Ella Fitzgerald glide through a phrase, or Justin Timberlake float into a clean falsetto, and suddenly you're trying to bend your voice into their shape. That's normal, that's how most artists begin learning, but the problem starts when imitation becomes your only identity. You keep pushing, adjusting, forcing, until your voice is living a life that isn't yours. And here's the surprising part. The more you chase someone else's tone, the further you drift from the one sound that could make you unforgettable. Understanding your natural range. Before you uncover your true sound, you need to understand the landscape of your voice. Not to lock yourself inside a box, but to finally see what your instrument naturally wants to do. Some voices grow deep into the ground the way a bass voice does, E2 to E4, like James Earl Jones, Barry White, Patrick Page, or Johnny Cash. Others settle into the warm centre of the room like a baritone, living between G2 and G4, similar to Frank Sinatra, Otis Redding, Norm Lewis, or John Raitt. Then you move higher into the brightness of a tenor from C3 to C5. Paul McCartney, Adam Pascal, Titus Burgess, Justin Timberlake, voices that carry clarity without effort. For lower female voices, you have the alto space around F3 to F5, powerful belters like Cher, Liza Minnelli, Ella Fitzgerald, and Rachel Bay Jones. Higher than that sits the mezzo-soprano, from A3 to A5, Selena Gomez, Sarah Bareilles, Renee Elise Goldsberry, Idina Menzel, and at the top is the soprano, from C4 to C6, Julie Andrews, Aaliyah, Laura Osnes, and yes, Mariah Carey at her cleanest. These aren't limits, they're starting points, a map, not a prison. Your voice feels most alive where it feels effortless. That matters more than anything. The moment you stop forcing the wrong sound. Here's something singers rarely admit to themselves. Forcing your voice into someone else's style might feel exciting, but it's also the fastest way to lose your identity. When you keep manipulating your tone, pushing your throat, or adjusting every little detail just to sound like that artist, you stop letting your real voice breathe. And in the long run, it becomes confusing, exhausting, and sometimes even scary, because one day you realize you don't know what you actually sound like. Flexibility. Finding your true sound means staying open to the idea that your voice might belong somewhere you never expected. Maybe you love pop, but your voice blooms beautifully in classical music. Maybe you grew up loving musical theatre, but your natural tone fits R&B or soul. Sometimes the music you love isn't the music that loves your voice. That's not a failure, it's a discovery. Artists like Idina Menzel, Sarah Bareilles, and Laura Osnes didn't become respected because they forced their voices into genres that didn't fit. They leaned into what felt natural. And here's the twist. Most singers never allow themselves this flexibility. They cling to the sound they wish they had, instead of exploring the sound they actually possess. Self-awareness. The truth about your voice shows up in the places where singing feels easy. Not lazy, not careless, just natural. When the breath connects without struggle, when the tone sits comfortably, when nothing feels forced. That's your voice telling you, this is me, pay attention. You may love pop, but discover that opera resonates more easily. You may love R&B, but realize musical theatre aligns better with your technique at this stage. This awareness doesn't mean you must abandon your favourite style. It simply gives you the freedom to build your sound on a stable foundation. You can always return to the genre you love, only this time, with clarity instead of confusion. Your voice knows before you do. You can hear when a voice locks into its natural lane. There's no tension, no strain, no overthinking, it just works. That's what intuition feels like in singing. When you open your mouth and the sound floats out cleanly, like it already knew what it wanted to do. It's that moment where the technique you've been working on suddenly clicks. Ask yourself, which style feels intuitive for you, even if it surprises you? Surrender, the hardest step of all. To discover your true sound, you must surrender the voice you think you're supposed to have. Let go of the imaginary version of yourself, the one you've built out of comparison, the one shaped by, I need to sound like this to be successful. Your real sound appears when you stop trying to control everything, when you stop chasing perfection, when you start exploring, Try singing something outside your usual playlist. Try letting your tone fall exactly where it wants to fall. Try noticing what feels natural instead of forcing what feels impressive. Because your true voice doesn't appear with pressure, it appears with permission. Open curiosity. Most singers carry hidden limits. I can't hit those notes. My tone is too heavy. My voice isn't strong enough. Those are stories, not facts. When you approach your voice with curiosity instead of judgment, you start discovering possibilities you never expected. You uncover colors, textures, and emotional layers that were buried under insecurity. Stay open, stay curious, keep exploring. And remember, your true sound isn't something you create, it's something you uncover. Tell me in the comments, what's one thing you discovered about your voice today? And if you want more breakdowns like this, let me know. Your true voice is waiting. The question is, are you finally ready to hear it? Voice, Adam. Stability, 0.7. Clarity, 0.8. Style exaggeration, 0.4. Pacing, slightly faster, 1.05 times. Delivery notes, keep sentences punchy and energetic. Add subtle emphasis at the start of each subtopic. Pause 0.3 seconds after emotional or curious questions. Maintain clear enunciation for technical terms. Avoid overly dramatic flair. Stay documentary friendly.